everyone, welcome back to Paper Therapy with Amy. This is the Peaceful Garden paper pack and workshop all mixed up together. These papers in the back are specific, they're white on the back, so they're specific just to the workshop. And you will get different papers in the paper pack with stickers as you will in just the paper pack. So you may want to check that out online when you're ordering it. But I got both because I just wanted more paper to work with. I am planning to use this for my son and daughter-in-law's wedding pictures, but today I have some actually hiking pictures for you that I thought went really well with this paper. I wanted to talk about when you have so many pieces of paper to select from. A lot of people make comments about how they don't love a paper pack until I show them 3 papers together, and then they're like, oh, I actually do like that when you group them together. So sometimes I think it really helps to group some papers together and take some away so that your brain isn't so overwhelmed by all these patterns. I almost never would use, I think I never would use all these patterns on one layout. It's just too much. So I'm gonna pull out the ones that kind of spoke to me the most. And first I'll show you my pictures and then you'll kind of see where I'm coming from. Let's leave this one out. So we did a hike together. It was called Pickle Jar Lakes Hike. I tried these pictures out with the Weekend Adventure paper packet, and it just wasn't quite what I was looking for. And these are such beautiful pictures, and that paper pack was more like having fun and camping. So I felt like this paper is more like just plain, you know, naturey, beautiful paper, so that it might go a little bit better. So I really find that I want to bring out the colors of the stone, and sometimes it's quite gray, but sometimes it's got some brown tones to it, like here and here. And when you get above the tree line, when you go hiking, that's what you see is all rocks like this. This is the actual lakes. And so I was thinking I could pull in one of these. And so this one here, I think will look really nice with the wedding pictures. And if I look at the back, I can't say I'm super partial that I have to keep the back, but I think I will use this for wedding photos. So I was going to not use that one. So let's see how this one looks. And I think like this picture here, maybe not quite as matchy, but this one here, like the stone is just about that color, and this one here as well. So I really like that. This goes a little better with this kind of cool slatey blue here. And then I was looking through and I thought I need some foliage or leaves. So, and I like this one because it brings in that lagoon color, which I love. It's one of my favorite colors, but it's also in the water. And my son is wearing a teal shirt and I'm wearing a shirt with teal on it. I don't want to have bright teal in here, but I felt like having touches of this lagoon color would really help to kind of bring everything together. And it leans into the gray that's kind of here on the rocks and here in the lake as well. And another reason that these colors in this sheet I really like is because there's evergreen trees on the sticker sheet and the punch out sheets. And I feel like these will not go well with wedding, but they'll go really well with these pictures because there's evergreens everywhere on the pictures, evergreens everywhere on the pictures. So I think these are going to be a good selection. So let's just completely take these ones out of the picture right now. And then right away, do you see how it's less overwhelming because there's just a few colors and it's not so much going on. Now I do like that there's some brown in here, and I might want to bring some wood grain brown into this layout. So I was looking through the wood grains, and the best one in my opinion, and I have a couple pieces, is this one. This side would actually go too. If you were doing more of a winter layout, I feel like this side would be good. But I think this is nice for hiking. So I'm going to hang on to those. No guarantee, but I'm thinking of using those. And then one thing that's really missing from here is green. And so I'm going to try and work with it a little bit, but if I need some green, I was kind of in the back of my mind, I had the Seasons of Gold and Green because it has such great green tones that go with these trees in the background. So I'm just gonna set the pictures aside and I'm gonna get my mat out, and I'll put some white paper down because I think it's always just easier for me if I start on white, and then we'll kind of see what I can come up with. What I usually start with is the placement of my photos, and everyone always seems to love how I use a lot of photos. So on this one, I was gonna walk you a little bit through my thought process on the photos and how I place them, and how I maximize the space on the page. So I printed these all out with that white trim because there's that bright blue sky, and I just think they pop a little bit more with a white trim, especially once you're getting them on the patterned papers. And one tip that I have to try and make sure that you're maximizing your space is you don't need to double up on that white border like this. I will often overlap them so that the border shares between these two pictures. And then when you do that, you sometimes find, well, that's a lot of sky, and you can tuck them up a bit higher. So that's one tip that I have. And then I do kind of like them to be in chronological order, but this was at pretty much the top. And these ones, this one here and this one were more during the hike. So it's hard sometimes. Like, I don't stick with that fully because I just think, well, they don't have to be in chronological order. So I find if I keep the same footprint across, it keeps things a little calmer and a little more orderly so that it doesn't look quite as busy. And then sometimes I like to put focal photos. Like, I really love this photo with the gray mountaintop in the background. This one's nice too, but it's a little bit different angle. This one was angled more this way, and so that's why I decided to use them both. Normally I wouldn't do a repeat like that, but I just decided this kind of shows how high up we are on this little point of rocks, and this one actually shows how beautiful the background is, more panoramic. So I decided to use them both. Why not? It's my picture. I can use them both if I want, right? Let's see if I can tuck this in here a little bit. I had a hard time laying these pictures out in a way that was pleasing to my eye. I think I was really struggling with this open spot here, but I didn't want that picture of us, that selfie that I took, on the outside edge because I felt like I'm kind of leaning to look out of the layout then, and I really wanted me looking into the layout. So I didn't want that right on the edge, and I tried to put it more towards the outside, but I just didn't like it, and so I ended up with the same layout that I just had there with that gap in the middle. You can see how this method of placing the photos right beside each other and overlapping the white borders really does conserve space and give you a lot more space to do your clusters and journaling in. And another thing that I really like about it is that it makes it look very orderly, which is nice when you have a lot of photos. I've got things just about the way I want them, and at this point I'll sometimes take a photo so I can remember later how I had things laid out. I'm going to bring in a few pattern papers, and I am mindful that I only have one sheet like this because it's a specialty paper from the workshop. I didn't like how the picture of my husband and I was sticking out so far by itself, so I did rearrange these a little bit, and I'm a lot happier with it now. I'm going to bring in this leafy sheet and see if I can kind of use it to frame out that corner picture of my husband and I. But I decide it's kind of too busy. I do keep it there for a bit, but I find it a bit too busy. I do like the pictures on this green. I'm having a struggle to put this together. And so I thought I would bring in a layout that I did that I really love, this one here. Sometimes if you have scrapbooker's block, you can, look at a layout that you really love that you did before and see if you can make it translate. So I think I'm going to try this, something similar. I'm not sure if I'm going to go right to the ends with these, but I'm going to try and see if I can kind of work this in. I messed around a little bit more with these papers, and then I decided that I was going to glue my photos at least together in groupings so that I could move them on and off a little more easily. Here I have used the gray, brown, beigey paper the same way that I had that leafy paper originally, kind of framing out that one picture. And then I also continued it in behind there, so it looks like there's a continuation, and I'm doing it all the way to the end and kind of deciding if I want to do another banner of this leafy paper here. And I was thinking of adding some green to have a triple row across the bottom. I don't end up going that direction. I put this paper up top here, and I like it a lot better on the top. And I think, well, what if I added a paper in behind here so it looks like this goes the whole distance across here? And I do like it, but I decided to bring it down a little bit. And then I do actually bring it up to the top of that blue paper, so I don't need that blue paper there. And then I'm going to add a little bit of that leafy paper top and bottom just to kind of hide where the blue paper ends. So first I slide in this entire sheet back here and put it over the 2 pages, but later I realize I only need a strip on top and bottom, so I'm going to cut that so there's just a strip showing. I also felt I needed a place to kind of rest the photos and have a place where some of my embellishments, like namely those trees, are going to originate from, and so I thought a wooden banner, just a small amount across the bottom, would look good, and that brown color is in that background paper as well with the leaves. I took about 2 inches off of this light blue paper, off of the whole bottom, and then I trimmed it around 4 inches so that I had 8 inches to work with on the other side, and you can kind of see the layout taking shape now. I wanted to bring in my Peaceful Evergreen die set, and I like the outline die on the Golden Greenery paper, but it didn't really go well with the trees that are in my paper pack. I decided to try cutting them out so they didn't have that big white edge, and I used the Peaceful Evergreens dies to cut them in the 3 different sizes, and I really like how they turned out. I did touch them up just a bit with the scissors if they weren't shaped quite right, and I also inked around the edges of each one of the trees, and if there was any white showing that way, it colored the white in a little bit, and it also made the 2 types of trees blend together a little better. I also cut out a couple of tags, one that I could write on and one in just the wood grain, and I'm going to arrange them here with a tree, and this is where I'll do my journaling. And then I'm going to add a few more trees to that right-hand side so that I have that visual triangle. I was thinking of calling this the Pickle Jar Lakes hike or something to that effect, because that is the lakes that we hike to. But I decided to change that and just put that in my journaling and use this stamp as my title right here. I just fussy cut it out carefully. It's stamped in mist on white. And then I wanted to add this little speckle stamp that's in this stamp set, this adventure stamp set, and add a little speckles to the frame on a few different spots. You can see that I also added some strings to the top of my tags, and that is this layout finished. I hope you really enjoyed watching this layout come together. If you did, I'd love that thumbs up, and please subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. I am getting closer to my goal of 5,000 subscribers. If you live in Canada and you'd like to order through me, check out the description. It will tell you how to do that. Thanks for watching, and here's another hiking video if you're looking for more inspiration. Bye!